Hey Carl, here's the inside of your distributor. Ooh, I'm shaky. I'm going to make this a private video so that no one can see it unless I send it to them. But you can kind of see the weight system there. You see the one spring has the big loop in the end. Has a big loop in the end on the bottom there. Now it's on the top. There's a big loop. This bottom spring down there is interesting. Well, actually both of them are. So I don't do video production very well. This is the weight stop. The one right across from it over here. Jesus. See if I can do this better so you don't get seasick. I'm getting seasick. So this weight right here is the other weight stop. So I can bend these in and change how far out these weights go. And that's what they're doing now. They're going out too far. And, you know, it's not a big deal. If I can't bend them far enough, I can always pull the distributor the rest of the way apart and TIG weld up these edges TIG weld up these edges right here and then put it back on the machine, and then I'll just have to take it back apart and grind it off until I get the weight. So you can see that's how far it comes out. So I can weld that up or bend the tab over some more. So here's the interesting thing about this deal. This upper spring is the only spring that controls the RPM at which the weights come out. And so if you move, there you go. That's easier to do right there. So that's max advance. So you can see that's the one spring that actually is hooked to that hooks to the weight and does something. Wow, this is harder than I thought. I need somebody to really hold this for me, but so you can see that. Hope that's clear. It's up against the stop and the springs at the end of the slot. The interesting thing is this spring right here is its only job is to shut the weights. Let me change that there. Its only job is to shut the weights because of this loop in the spring. See how loose that spring is on the pin? That makes it pull a bunch of timing at idle, which I don't like for automatics. Because if it pulls timing at idle, and then you pull it into gear, it loses some timing, so you're giving up initial at idle. It's kind of backwards. For a stick, I don't care. In fact, for a stick, it's actually pretty cool. But for automatics, I don't do it because that makes the RPM drop even more in gear, and you have less initial than you should. But the interesting thing is this all that does is return everything back to zero because you got the slop and spring. It's an actually really cool system. It's a great system. If they just made, you only got to make one extra spring. The spring with the loop in it right here. If they just made a different version of this spring, a couple different versions of the spring, we could change the curve. It's very simple to control how much mechanical advance it pulls by these tabs. That's simple. You also notice that they got little rubber or plastic tips on the end of them. That's pretty cool. So when they come out and slam against the stop, they got a little cushion. Like I said, the system's really cool. If they would just make some other kind of spring to do that. So that's what you're up against. And I figured it'd be way easier for me to video this and send you a link to the video privately to YouTube than it would be to sit down and type all this crap out for you. But that's what you're looking at right there. And like I said, engineering-wise, I love it. I like the design. I like the concept of it. I like the way it works. The only thing I don't like is nobody's making springs for it. Or at least they won't tell me where to get them. So that's what you're up against, and I just wanted you to see it.